Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore this amazing, incredible shrinking Wadwalder pens. And yes, you see a very nice one rotating in front of you, being held up by a happy crab and being observed by my many pen friends who enjoy a new pen, enjoy watching me present a new pen, and as much as I enjoy presenting a new pen to you. Yes, this is a Hongdian CA35. This is what it looks like on the selling platforms. And yes, it is a sister pen to a WA35 that I have, which we will compare it to a little bit later on. I think the red color is great in the barrel, and it has an amazing amount of detail engraved on the cap, the section, and of course that space theme nib that Hongdian has used on a few pens. So we're going to let Mr. Crab give you a winky wink, and we're going to dive in. So for the few of you that may not be aware, the Hongdian pen comes in a nice metal box with a nice sleeve over top of it. The pen is secure in this nice little foam, and of course it was in a plastic condom. Good packaging, simplistic. And also, if you want to send a pen to somebody, it makes for a small package to send away, and you know the pen will arrive safe and secure. So to me, one of the first things that I was impressed with is the pen feels good. It has that nice substantial weight, which a lot of people enjoy, and I do too. And of course, the amazing amount of detail on the pen is just incredible. Yes, it's a space theme. Just a standard clip. Very functional. On the stiff side, but it'll certainly stay in your shirt pocket once you put it there. Yes, my PC has said it's done processing the Bennu video, which I will publish today. So what's nice is the engraving is just done extremely well. And Hongdian is good at always identifying their pens. Here it is on that band at the top of the cap, just below that incredible finial that kind of reminds me of an astronomical theme there. Something's going on inside there. They're very good at doing that type of detail, and it's done extremely well, fit and finish, etc., etc. The cap comes off in less than one turn. They've been very good at doing that now. And there's that space theme nib that they've been using. And of course the section also has a lot of incredible, interesting engraving on it. Being a metal section, that certainly lends it to reduce the amount of slipperiness, but the way that finish is done, it feels good in the hand. I just think they did a great job. The pen is, I'd say, standard size. I find it to fit my hand very well. And as you might guess from the design, it posts fairly deep and fairly secure, but that cap has a decent amount of weight to it. We'll give you the weights. And we'll also give you the dimensions of that section, which really is about a perfect size for me. My 3 fingers just barely touch. And I can move around. Those threads are not sharp. You don't feel any step up. So it's ergonomically a very well-designed pen, but it's a classic design pen, obviously. One thing I found very interesting was these equations that are on the cap. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Einstein nib that had equations on it, or Schrodinger's cat nib. I'm impressed that this type of design work is evident on this pen, and done incredibly well. I mean, very crisp, very clear. It's just wonderful. I'm impressed. I really am amazed. I hope it's coming across to you on the video. And on the section, we also have that bear with 2 cubs, some stars, a rocket ship. Again, just amazing amount of really nice engraving detail. Probably done by laser, but still impressive nonetheless. So here we are with my WA35. That's also a space theme pen. Here the metal barrel has a lot of interesting engravings on it. I'll give you a link to my full review of the pen, those that want more detail. And the cap comes off in much less than one turn, about a 3/4 turn. So they've been good at doing that. And we'll see that similar space theme nib again. The rocket on it. They're both fine nibs. Here it's just a little of a cross hatch design, not that nice engraving that's on the CA35. You know, similar nice threads here, easy step up. You know, and similar in size. You know, this is a little bit square ends and this has the pointy end. Again, classic designs, good ergonomics on both pens, and I've enjoyed writing with the WA35 since I first inked it up. I also want to recognize that Hongdian has that nice O-ring on the section, so when you screw down the barrel, which spins down quite nicely, that last turn really locks it in place and it's not going to easily unscrew. I remember years ago when hardly any Chinese pens had that ring, that O-ring there, but now almost everyone does. I think that's great that they've steadily improved the quality and usability of their pens. Too bad in the United States that acquiring them is not going to be as affordable as it used to be. At least that's the current plan. Here we are just showing the pieces of the pen. You have your standard Hongdian nib assembly that unscrews from the section. Hongdian branded converter that has a little ball in, which I will remove. This collar just unscrews easily. And of course you have the section and cap. So that's the bits and pieces. Just to show you that this metal collar just unscrews there. Of course I silicone grease the piston, and I also put silicone grease on that piston rod that goes up and down. And this way, I also put some silicone grease on those threads because I want to be able to disassemble this if I need to for a thorough cleaning, which sometimes you need to. And of course the metal ball is gone, and a nice metal ring there at the end to give it a lot of stability, and a nice insert there to seal up at the end of the nib assembly. Kudos to Hongdian. Well, here's an ink that called out to me, and I had not used this ink in a pen. It is definitely a nice red ink, and the ITF that Monteverde uses I think works well. Lubricated ink, always has good flow. And here's what it looks like on a paper towel. That is definitely red, at least according to my eyes. The first thing I'll say about the writing is I like this color, this red color. It's probably the most intense red that I have. It's a shame I haven't used it much before. So this fine steel nib has a decent amount of feedback to it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of smoothing, which has generally been very successful in just taking the edge off. Sometimes the nib is too smooth. This one is certainly not that, but the flow is great. It feels good on the paper, but like I said, I just want to reduce the feedback a little bit. So I just smoothed it a little bit, and I've shown this nail board before, which has 3 roughnesses on it. Kind of rough, not so rough, and smooth polishing side. And that's all I used. You know, a couple figure eights back and forth, but now blah, blah, blah. And it just took that edge off the nib. I mean, probably 90% of the people would be fine with the nib as it was, but I'd like to just improve it a little bit, and I did. Well, these pens both have the same clip on them with that little star there. The other thing they share in common is this red color. Doesn't quite look the same on the camera. This is a little bit lighter, and in a different light they look similar, but no, they're not the same red. Put different light on, things look differently. Certainly that top finial is different between these two pens by quite a bit. Cap to, barrel to. Interesting how they've taken a design concept and applied it to two different pens in a different manner. But they do share clip and nib. So we're reaching the end of the video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Certainly two very interesting pens with some common elements but different approaches to presenting that space theme for us to enjoy. So one of the things that comes to my mind recently is, with all the changes globally as far as how products are going to move and so much concern about balance of trade, I don't think fountain pens really enter into that, but they will be affected by the changes. So I'm really happy with the pens that I've collected. And if things work out that I don't collect any more pens, at least from one particular area of the world, then I'll be okay with that. But I'm glad I do have some to share with you. Some are on their way to me, but who knows whether they'll ever show up. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, happy, enjoying your life, being able to deal with anything that comes up. Hopefully it's all good, but we know that life is not just a bowl of cherries, as one might say. We've come to the end of this video. Again, I said there's a lot more pens in the pipeline, so I'll be doing new pens for at least a little bit. Again, thank you all for watching, and we will say bye-bye.